can't give up 41 points again, can they? Can they? Welcome to the jungle, Bengals fans. I'm Kyle Phelps, and being a Bengals fan should be recognized by international law as an act of torture. It has really been a rough start to the 2024 season. The Bengals are 1-4, and at least for the last month, it has almost entirely been because the defense is an absolute nightmare. But I do think there is some room for hope. Call me crazy, but we got off to a similar start in 2022, and they ended up winning the division and came within a field goal of returning to the Super Bowl that year. So, that's what we're going to talk about today. Can the Bengals do it again and turn their season around, or have they just gone too far to redeem at this point? Before we dive in, I'd just like to ask that you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. We just crossed over 500 subscribers last week, which was my goal for the entire season. So believe me when I say I really appreciate every single one of you. We're on the road to 1,000 now. Alright, so if you watched my reaction to the Bengals-Ravens game, and if you didn't, you should go check it out. It makes a great hate watch, or, you know, maybe something in your life isn't going so great, so watching me be sad is cathartic. I don't know, I just know that my numbers on this channel go up when the Bengals embarrass themselves. But what I can say is losing that game really did hurt. It hurts because that was their chance to set things back on the right path this year. Beat the Ravens, and suddenly you're 2-3, you're on a winning streak, and you're solidly in second place in the division with the Steelers being fucking Steelers and whatever they're doing. Chasing Justin Fields and the Pittsburgh Steelers feels a lot better than having to chase Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. As we all know, though, that's not what happened. What did happen is Joe Burrow had a career game throwing for 392 yards and 5 touchdowns, while Jamar Chase damn near put up another 200-yard performance against the Baltimore Ravens. And unfortunately, Joe Burrow throws one single interception, one single tiny little interception, and the defense implodes for the entire second half, and they lost 41-38 in overtime. Just disgraceful, just absolutely disgraceful. I'm still in shock. Moving forward, if we keep seeing performances like this, it's really hard to see them winning too many games, frankly. We could be headed for a second lost season in a row, and this one wouldn't be because Joe Burrow got hurt. It's honestly gotten to the point now that even I'm the big Zach Taylor supporter, who's, you know, I was in his corner before the Bengals hired him. Even I'm considering that maybe it makes sense to consider moving on from Zach Taylor at the end of the season if they stay on this path and miss the playoffs, which right now it looks like they're, you know, on pace to do. However, let me tell you why I think that might not happen. Now let me be clear, I'm not saying that it won't happen. I'm saying that there's still a path to turning the season around. It's still there, you know? Remember when the Bengals started 2-3 in 2022? They got there in part due to a close loss in Week 5 to the very same Baltimore Ravens. And then they won their next 2 games after that. They lost to the Browns in Week 8. And they didn't lose another game the entire season until Joseph Osai pushed Patrick Mahomes out of bounds illegally in the AFC Championship. And here's the other thing, their remaining schedule in 2022 after that bad start was way more difficult than it's going to be for the rest of this season. The next 4 weeks, you've got the Giants, Browns, Eagles, Raiders, and then after that, you do have a rematch with the Baltimore Ravens, but you just dropped 38 points on them. Like, they can't give up 41 points again, can they? Can they? There's no reason that they can't win basically all of those games. Some of the worst passing offenses in the NFL before you get to the Ravens, and 2 of those 4 teams don't even have good ground games either, but against the Bengals defense, maybe they will, I don't know. Suddenly, though, you're going into that Week 10 Ravens game. If you do win all those games, you're 5-4, and you're feeling much more confident in the trajectory of the season. They almost beat them this week, like I said, so why can't they beat them later this season? And then the current team leading the AFC North, well, you know, how much do any of you believe in the Steelers? And then we don't actually see them until, you know, the 12th and 18th weeks of the season when the Bengals could be heated up by then. The thing is, though, the defense has got to improve going forward. Over the last 3 weeks, they let up 38, 24, and 41 points. The 24 was to Andy Dalton. Basically, the offense has to be perfect every single week to get a win. But then it can't stay that bad forever, right? Don't forget the Bengals defense was playing pretty well in the first half of that Ravens game. You know, they held Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to 26 points, and they can totally work with that. They did a great job against the Patriots in Week 1, and I know it's the Patriots, but again, it's not like you're going up against a bunch of world beaters for pretty much the whole rest of the season, other than that one game against the Ravens. So I don't see any reason why they can't get things back going. The one thing that does give me a little bit of pause, though, is the issue for those first 5 weeks in 2022 was the offense. The offense wasn't playing well. You felt okay about that, though, because, you know, you got Joe Burrow, and you're just relying on him to get better, which isn't exactly a wild leap of imagination to think that that's going to happen. This year, though, Joe Burrow already leads the league in passing touchdowns heading into Week 6 with 12. He's top 5 in passing yards with 1,370, and he has the highest passer rating in the NFL among quarterbacks with at least 100 pass attempts. So you're relying on the defense to suddenly improve now, which that feels a lot less likely considering what they've been. Still, though, they do have some opportunity against some bad offenses moving forward. All that is to say, though, that the Bengals, realistically, should be favored to win all but maybe one of their remaining games unless they continue tanking the season, you know? After the 5 that I mentioned, you've got the Chargers, Steelers, Cowboys, Titans, Browns, Broncos, and then the Steelers again. Even if they find a way to lose 3 of those games, that still puts them at the end of the season finishing 10-7, and then they shouldn't have any issue making the playoffs, I don't think. The Steelers got in the playoffs last year with a 10-7 record, and the Packers got in with a 9-8 record. I know that was in the NFC, but it could happen in the AFC. Do y'all remember when the Packers started 3-6 last year? They ended up making the playoffs, and they beat the Cowboys in the first round? Why not us? So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and I'll feature the best ones in my next video, like this one from FFSwifty8650, who said, "Damn it, Aaron!" And if y'all don't get that joke, Aaron, who has contributed a few of the elements to this show, and I shout him out from time to time, and he shows up a lot in a lot of the live streams under the name Chuckles2340. He just happened, during the live stream of the Ravens game, he just happened to keep showing up when the Bengals shot themselves in the foot over and over and over, so we blamed him for the loss. Now, here's the thing, is Aaron involved in a multinational conspiracy to keep the Bengals from winning football games? I don't know, you tell me. Of course, y'all can always catch more of what I do at Kyle Phelps92 on Twitter and TikTok, Facebook.com/LaPhelps, and right here if you subscribe. And here's the thing, guys, I'm already trapped. This is just a fact. Win, lose, or tie, I'm a Bengals fan till I die. Unfortunately, in the meantime, I might cry. But I'll leave y'all, as always, with a hootie!